Hello, the Keto family, welcome back. Today, we're going to be making egg roll in a bowl. If this is your first time with me, don't forget, hit that subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you don't miss upcoming videos. Let's get started, guys. Alright guys and gals, so before we get started, as a reminder, everything I'm using today is going to be listed down in the description below. And then at the very end of this video will be a nutritional card with the breakdown of what you can expect when you eat this by using an online calculator with all my ingredients, okay? Alright, that's out of the way, let's get started. So first things first, my wonderful husband did just get me a new cooktop for my birthday that's coming up soon. So hopefully this noise level is a little bit better for you guys. Please feel free to leave me feedback below, good, bad, or ugly, just so I can know if it's working or not, what we're doing here. I do try to give y'all the best quality video possible, and if that noise is distracting to you, I'm so sorry about that. Alright, so to get started, I did slice up a cabbage. If you don't feel like getting cabbage and cutting it up yourself, you can always buy the bagged cabbage. Sometimes that has other stuff mixed in with it too, so you just have to do your own calculations as far as what the macros for that would be. But this was not a very big cabbage. Like, if I hold my hand up, it's about as tall as my hand was. So I would say, about 2.5 maybe pounds or so. And if you see it cut up, it made a big bowl of cabbage shreds, alright? Alright, let me get my pan heated up and we'll start cooking. So while I'm waiting for that to get heated up, I did want to mention that this is made in the crock pot. I find that very convenient because I can actually prep this the night before, put it in the crock pot and stick it in the fridge, and then the next day whenever I'm ready for it to start cooking, I just take it out, plug it in, and set the timer to go. So I find that really, really convenient. I know some people make this on the stovetop. There's different ways. I like the crock pot. I think giving it those couple hours to sit and simmer in its juices, it really develops a really terrific flavor profile. So let me know what y'all think about that. If you prefer the stovetop or the crock pot, I prefer the crock pot. I think it just tastes better. Alright, our pan has heated up nicely. I'm going to go ahead and add 3 tablespoons of butter to this. And you can use really any cooking oil that you prefer. I just love the way that the cabbage tastes. Whenever you cook it up in butter, it just really brings out a delicious flavor in it. And this, we're waiting for this butter to melt. This recipe is so versatile. It's so easy to personalize and make it your own. Obviously, you're going to have the basic, cabbage, you'll have protein, whatever you think of belongs in an egg roll, do it. There's no right or wrong way to do this. I'm just going to share with you guys the way I make it, the way my family likes it the best. And then you can just adjust it yourself from there and do what your family likes the best. Or if you're super strict keto, you may not want, say, the little bit of carrots I'm going to add into this. That's perfectly fine. I've made it without carrots, and my family, they didn't care for it as much. They said just didn't feel like an egg roll as much. So I keep just a little bit of carrots in there, enough to, make them think it's in there, but not enough to really do much, damage to the keto diet. Alright, that butter is melted. We're going to add in the cabbage, and depending on how much cabbage you're adding and how big your pan is, you might need to do this in 2 segments. Do half of it first, transfer it to the crock pot, and then cook the other half. But we'll see if I can get it all in one. I purposely chose a slightly smaller cabbage this time. That means less leftovers, but also means I'll have a faster time cooking it up for you guys. Alright. That looks like a massive amount of cabbage, I know, but I promise you it does cook down to be a little bit less. So we'll give this a couple minutes to cook. I'll be right back with you guys, okay? And we're back. So about 7 minutes later, this cabbage has cooked down very nicely. It's just started to brown a little bit. It's perfect and buttery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this over to the crock pot. Just dump it in the bottom. So again, another 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm just going to melt this down in the pan. Alright, now that butter has cooked down, I have about a cup of leeks here. I'm using leeks that I cut up for a salad a couple nights ago. I'm trying not to waste anything with the shortage of food in the grocery store. And one fun fact about leeks, same thing goes for green onions and lettuce, is if you save the bottom, inch or 2 off of them, stick them in a cup of water and they'll start regrowing. And after about, 5 to 7 days in my windowsill, I transplant them out into my garden where they just keep growing. So it's a free way to get a good quick start on some of your vegetables if you need it. In my windowsill currently I've got, let's see, romaine lettuce, buttercrisp lettuce, green onions, and a leek. So it does work, and it works wonderful. So I give this just a minute or 2 to cook these down in the butter. And leeks are so expensive. I can't imagine how many bottoms I've thrown away over the years when using them to cook with, when all I had to do was just put their butts in some water and I can regrow them. Because I think one bunch of these, I think it was 3 to a bunch, and the bunch was like $4. I mean, and if I'm using 1 leek per recipe, if not more, that is insane. So reuse those bad boys. Let me know below if y'all do, because I'm curious to see. Okay, I'm almost 40 years old, and I have never known you could regrow grocery store produce like that. If you knew this, you know, go ahead and give me a stupid face down below, because I had no clue. Of course, I've never been much of a gardener. I've just recently started, you know, trying to grow my own kitchen garden, just because it's some of the produce I buy at the grocery store. I bring it home, and like 2 or 3 days later, it's already gone bad in the refrigerator. Great thing about a garden is you can go, you know, what is it one lady called it? Backyard grocery shopping, and just get it as you need it, and that way you don't really, nothing goes to waste. So that's what I'm trying to do. Alright, so those onions have cooked down nicely. I want to add garlic to them. And my family loves garlic, so I have 2 tablespoons of fresh minced garlic here. If you don't like a lot of garlic, add less. Just use a clove or 2, but we really like our garlic. So I'm going to get it nice and fragrant in here, about 30 seconds. And that was actually a clove from an elephant garlic. I saw those in the store, and I've never tried one before. They're huge, and they actually have a much stronger flavor than regular garlic, but we really like it. No vampires don't come around us. We eat a lot of garlic here. Alright, that's going to be nice and fragrant. Alright, beautiful. So I'm going to transfer these to the crock pot, same as we did the cabbage. Alright, now to this mixture, I'm going to add about a half a cup's worth of shredded carrots. I know carrots are not really keto friendly. Last time I made this recipe, I did not put the carrots in, and my husband, he just really didn't like it as much. He's like, this is not like egg roll in a bowl, it's like stir-fried cabbage. So he really needed this, you know, for the illusion of it being the egg roll, right? This really makes it for him. So I added just a half a cup, not enough, because once you get all the different servings broken down, it's not going to add a whole lot of carb content to it. And don't add it if you're really strict keto. Don't add the carrots, but they really need it just for their psychological benefit, so I added to it. Alright, so now we're going to add everything else to the crock pot and finish up. We're done cooking. I wish that fan would cut off, but it takes its sweet time. So I have a half a cup of water, hot, cold, doesn't matter, it's going on the crock pot. I've got 2 teaspoons of sesame oil here. Drizzle that in. And I got my seasonings here. So I have a half a teaspoon of grated ginger. I got a teaspoon of pink Himalayan sea salt, a teaspoon of no salt, and a teaspoon of garlic and herb Mrs. Dash. I love my Mrs. Dash. Alright, so I added to a lot of my different things. And be creative with your seasonings here. You can add just about anything you want. So in the end, I will be sprinkling some sesame seeds on the top of this, but I'm not going to do that right now. Depending on the protein that you're going to put in this, you can add the protein now, or you can wait and add the protein at the very end after it's cooking. When I make this with chicken, which is actually what I do most often, is I'll use, you know, sliced up chicken breast. I'll cut it into little 1-inch pieces. I'll pan fry that until it's nice and brown, and then I'll add it to it and stir it all together before I cook it in the crock pot. Today I'm using steak. We are limited to what we have, so I'm trying to use everything that's in my freezer. The oldest thing in my freezer is a couple of New York strip steaks, so that's what we're having. Last time I cooked the steak in it, a couple months ago, I added the steak to it at this point and then cooked it, and I didn't like the texture it gave it. So what we're going to be doing is, after this cooks, I'm going to have my husband go ahead and outside. I know it's a rainy, drizzly, chilly day, but I'm going to make him brave the elements and grill the steaks for us. And then towards the very end, after it's done cooking, I'm going to slice it up, put it on top, and serve it that way. That way you don't lose the good texture of a grilled steak. But I've cooked chicken in it, I've cooked pork in it. Use your leftovers. If you have, you know, chicken left over in the fridge, don't know what to do with it, cut up and throw it in. Same thing with pork tenderloin. I've done that more than once. Cut up pork tenderloins or pork chops, throw them in. It's a really terrific recipe if you want to use up any of your leftovers. Like those leeks, I probably wasn't going to be using them in another recipe soon. Throw them in. You know, it's a great way to not waste the food you have, because food's hard to come by right now. Okay, guys? Alright, so that is it. I need to get a spoon. And this recipe is salt and pepper to taste. So I'm just going to put a little bit of pepper. I'm not a huge pepper fan. Crack some in there. Probably maybe a 1/4 teaspoon or half a teaspoon's worth. We'll give this all a good stir. Get everything mixed together. Funny story. So this last time I made this, I actually used half green cabbage, half red cabbage. So I'm like, you know what? Those have two different nutritional profiles to them, so let's get all the nutrients that we can. It turned the whole thing purple. So we had purple egg roll in a bowl. It looked like, seriously, something you'd find in the bottom of an Easter basket. So the nutrition that red cabbage holds is absolutely amazing. Just know if you add it to this, you're going to have yourself a little Easter dinner. My family looked at that like, what is this? How are we going to eat this? But it was so hilarious. As far as other things you can add to this, of course, I use the leeks instead of the onions. You can add the onions, you can add the mushrooms. You just soup it up to your heart's content, whatever the vegetables you're comfortable eating. You know, I try to keep it towards the Asian flair side, so. And this, as a note, this egg roll in a bowl reheats beautifully. I've never known my family to eat the same meal 2-3 days in a row, but they will come in here for lunch and heat this up for leftovers day after day after day. They absolutely love it. So if you're meal prepping, get a bigger cabbage. You know, you might spend a little bit longer cooking it because you have to do it in 2 batches. But get the biggest cabbage you can find. You'll have meals for a week or 2 in here. I mean, it's absolutely insane how good this is reheated. All right. But for brevity's sake, I didn't want to get too big of a cabbage and sit here for, 20 minutes cooking up cabbage. Alright guys, so all we're going to do is we're going to stick a lid on this. You can cook it on low for 4 hours, on high for 2 hours is what the directions say. Honestly, I've cooked it on low for 6 and it was just fine. So if you want to stick it in first thing in the morning, just set, if you have a crock, this is not an expensive crock pot, don't get me wrong. But I love this crock pot that I can tell it to cook for 4-6 hours. And once it reaches the end of that time, it automatically goes to a keep warm setting. That's perfect. If I'm leaving somewhere for that day, I set it to cook for the amount of time I need it to cook, and then when I come home, it's not cooking any longer, it's just keeping warm, so it's absolutely amazing. So this is ready to start cooking. I'll see y'all guys back in a couple hours once I got the steaks cooked up, and then we'll see what it all looks like together. I'll see y'all soon. Alright guys and gals, we are back. My egg roll in a bowl has been cooking here for the last 4 hours and simmering, and then my lovely husband went ahead and grilled up those steaks for me. And meanwhile, I did just finish up scrambling about 5 or 6 medium-sized eggs in here. Medium because my grocery store had no large eggs. All they had was medium, so that's what I have. But I scrambled those up because I can't imagine an egg roll not having egg in it. I mean, that's just one of the things I like about it. That smells so good. And at this point is where you want to just do a taste test, adjust your seasonings to your preference. I know my family likes stuff a little bit salty, so I did add a little bit more salt. Just get to where you like it and your family likes it. I'm going to go ahead and add the eggs in. Just give that a good stir. I can't wait. I actually haven't eaten yet today. This is going to be my meal. I've been so busy running around while this was cooking. I've been getting stuff for my garden ready. I went to the big box store and I got compost and peat moss and all that kind of stuff, getting my beds ready to plant. Hopefully tomorrow or the next day I'll be able to plant everything, all my seedlings out. Alright, let me actually show you what we have. Ooh, yummy, steamy goodness. Alright, now you can mix the meat straight into it if you want to. I kind of like mine on top just so I know exactly how much meat I am or am not getting in my bowl. Alright guys, there we go. It is all done. Absolutely delicious and ready to take to the table and eat. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I absolutely love crock pot meals. Whenever you're busy running around doing stuff, you don't always have time. In the afternoons right before dinner to sit here and start prepping and cooking. So anything I can make ahead and throw in the crock pot is a winner in my book. I have not tried freezing this before cooking. I don't know how that would work out. If you want to try and freeze it ahead of time and reheat it, let me know if that works for you. Otherwise, guys, it's been great having you with me today. Don't forget to leave me a thumbs up down below. It really helps the channel out. And please feel free to share this with anybody that you know can use a great crock pot recipe. Until next time, guys. Bye.